Hi, John with Specialty Tools, and I'd like to show you about a product that we offer that not a lot of people know about. It's called Strike-Hold, and it is a liquid rust remover, rust inhibitor, and waterproofer. It cleans electrical contacts. You can waterproof extension cords if you're working outside. You can remove rust from things. It actually penetrates underwater. It's just an unbelievable product. It was developed by a gentleman in the armed services during Desert Storm, and he used it to apply to his knives and guns. And when they applied it to a knife, you could stick it in the sand, take it out of the sand, and there would not be one grain of sand on the knife. So it's pretty different from a lot of the cleaners that are out there. So what I have here today is I have a saw tabletop that is well rusted, as you can see. It's not just surface rust, but it's gotten down into the metal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray some liquid Strike-Hold onto it, let it soak in for about 5 minutes, and then I'll be back to show you how it works and how we will start to clean this top. Alright, so you can see that it's starting to dissolve the rust. It's been sitting on here for probably about 5 minutes, maybe a little longer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start trying to bring that rust up and out of the metal using a sander on a grinder mode with a maroon Scotch-Brite. So I'm going to set the camera for a close-up, and you can watch what I'm doing as I do it in each step. We'll put this in the grinder mode first. And then we'll just start working back and forth, just as if you're actually sanding, just like you're doing solid surface or any other work. A heavy area here. Now I may have to sand some of these stains out. There's rings and things like that. Some things that were setting on it that were wet. And like I said, it's been setting for quite a long time, probably 3 or 4 months since I'd actually used it. So that'll be the first step. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to wipe it out, and you can see that the rust is already coming out of there really nicely. Now the stains and stuff won't come out, but the rust is actually coming out. And the rest of it I will actually sand out. Probably starting with around an 80 grit and then going down to whatever finish that I need. Alright, so as you can see, the top is pretty much free of all the rust that was on here. Now it's just stained. I've taken a carbide scraper and I scraped off any glue and things like that I had on it. And now I'm going to switch over to a 5-inch sander, only because I only have 5-inch sandpaper and 80 grit. So I'm going to start with an 80. And then I'm going to proceed through the different steps, and we'll see how nice and clean we can actually bring this up. Okay, so I've got an 80 grit sandpaper on our sander, and we've got it in grinder mode, so I'm just going to start sanding this top. Okay, well, as you can see, I've gone through a bunch of sandpaper. I started with 80 grit, and I used about, I don't know, probably 10 sheets, because I kept drawing up crap out of the metal. And that's all the stuff that's been dissolved by the Strike-Hold, dirt and grease and rust and what have you. So then I took it down to a 150 and then a 220, and certainly this is slippery enough for the average person. Now myself, I would like to... you could go ahead and use Strike-Hold, and that'll prevent this from rusting very quickly. It will wear off in time, so you could keep putting coats on it. But what I prefer to do is I'm going to cover this with Glide Coat. It's a product by Bostitch, and it'll coat the surface, and it'll be nice and slick. So when I'm sliding boards over it, you know, I like it nice and clean because I do a lot of this. Next to the saw, which I'm sure you guys do as well. I do have a block for that, but I always use my fingers, you know, if I go an inch or more. I like to have my hands on it rather than some kind of a tool of any kind. But I'm going to go ahead and spray this down with the Bostitch, and then I will show you the top when it's all done. Alright, so this goes on just like you were spray painting. You want to get a good coat on it. get it in the ways really well. And it kind of acts like a wax and a protectant at the same time. Great product. When I get done with this, I will wipe it out and just kind of buff it out. A lot of guys will wax it. We used to use a Johnson's paste wax. There's been a lot of things that we've used. The top coat seems to last quite long, especially if you're cutting melamine panels and particle board. It'll last a little bit longer than a lot of other things. But obviously if you're doing a lot of cutting, anything you put on it is going to wear off. And I will put this on, and then I'll probably put another coat right on top of this. But that's just me. I like to have a nice slick saw to work with. But you know, you got to admit that this is pretty nice. It's a whole lot better than a rusted saw, and it's safe to use. It looks nice, and when someone comes in your shop and sees a nice top like this, they know that you're concerned about your work. And there you have it. So I hope that was a big help to you.